Good evening, and welcome to tonight's weather news broadcast. The Atlantic has switched into active mode, with two tropical systems at the same time. Tropical Storm Humberto, which was officially named this afternoon, and Invest 94L, a strong tropical wave out ahead of it that may become the next named storm in the coming days. Farther to the northeast, Hurricane Gabrielle continues to hold strong intensity as it accelerates across the North Atlantic. In this program, we'll bring you the latest updates, summarize official information from the National Hurricane Center, NHC, walk through the newest model runs from this afternoon and evening, and take some time to decode the steering mechanisms, why two tropical cyclones sitting close together can tug, push, or even bend each other's tracks. At the end, we'll share a safety message and a short prayer for those living in coastal risk zones. First, let's take a look at the satellite imagery across the Atlantic. Humberto is showing the classic structure of a young tropical storm. The low-level center is exposed, with deep convection displaced to the eastern half due to persistent upper-level shear still pressing in from the west. The storm is moving steadily west-northwest across warm waters, favorable for strengthening, however. With the lingering shear on its western flank, convection hasn't fully wrapped around the core yet. Meanwhile, Invest 94L, the lead tropical wave, is pulling a dense band of thunderstorms along its southern axis. Mid-level vorticity is evident, but a closed low-level center has yet to form. In other words, 94L is still in the gathering stage, trying to consolidate moisture and spin. Any uptick in shear or intrusion of dry mid-level air could slow its organization. Farther northeast, Gabrielle remains a strong hurricane racing toward the Azores, bringing winds, large waves, and widespread rain to the islands. Now to the official updates. According to the NHC advisories, Humberto remains a tropical storm and is expected to gradually strengthen as upper-level shear relaxes and outflow improves in all quadrants. While its track keeps it offshore, coastal waters from Florida through the mid-Atlantic and Bermuda should prepare for rough surf, large swells, and dangerous rip currents from long-range wave action. For Invest 94L, the probability of tropical depression formation in the next 1 to 2 days may rise as it moves through the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, an area of high sea surface temperatures and improving mid-level moisture. Still, uncertainty remains high. If short-term westerly shear increases or a dry air tongue cuts into the core, 94L's development could stall. As for Gabrielle, hurricane warnings have been issued for the Azores depending on the storm's final approach. Moving to the models, which many of you are eager to hear about. In the short to mid-range window, 72 to 120 hours. Most global ensembles agree Humberto has an opportunity to strengthen once upper-level outflow improves. With central pressure dropping into Category 1 to 2 range, possibly flirting with Cat 3 intensity over very warm waters, the track consensus is north to northeast, safely offshore from the U.S. East Coast, but capable of producing widespread swell. For 94L, most members project tropical depression or tropical storm formation near the Bahamas. A handful of outlier ensemble tracks bring 94L farther north and closer to the Carolinas. If it manages to race ahead of Humberto's influence, while lower probability. These scenarios highlight how small shifts in speed or curvature of the steering flow could create big differences after day 4 or 5. Let's now geek out for a moment on the physics of intensification and steering. Humberto's ability to ramp up hinges on establishing a broad, balanced upper-level anticyclone (ULAC) near 200 hectopascals. When air at the top vents efficiently in all directions, convection below can rise continuously without capping. The result: central pressure falls, the eye and eyewall structure tighten, and the storm taps warm ocean energy more effectively. For 94L, the hurdles are stronger shear and lurking dry air intrusions. To overcome this, it needs to keep its mid-level convection aligned with the low-level center while slowing just enough for the vortex to consolidate. Steering becomes interesting when two cyclones are nearby. If their centers approach closely, the stronger system can induce a mild Fujiwara effect, pulling the weaker one to arc around it, usually east-northeastward and eventually out to sea. In most scenarios, Humberto plays the big brother role, while 94L follows and gets deflected. But some model runs suggest that if 94L moves northward quickly enough before Humberto closes in, it might escape that grip and instead be steered by the western flank of the Atlantic Ridge and a cutoff low aloft over the U.S. southeast, potentially bending its path northwest toward the Carolinas at tropical storm or minimal hurricane strength. The next few days will hinge on three factors. 1. How quickly 94L gains latitude. 2. How much shear weakens along its track. And 3. The position and strength of the Atlantic Ridge and nearby troughs. Timeline-wise, the next 72 hours mark the transition window. By the weekend, Humberto is projected to strengthen and churn up dangerous seas along the U.S. East Coast and around Bermuda, even if skies are sunny onshore. Rip current risks will be high. Across the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, showers and thunderstorms will increase as 94L approaches, with squalls producing gusty winds. From mid to late next week, Humberto is likely to pull away northeast, while 94L, if it organizes, may get tugged east-northeast as well. Only a few fringe scenarios keep 94L near the southeast U.S., and those require faster consolidation than currently observed. On U.S. land, the immediate concern isn't direct landfall rain but indirect impacts, widespread surf, elevated rip currents, and dangerous beach conditions from Florida through the mid-Atlantic. Mariners will also face worsening seas. Port authorities should monitor marine advisories for potential schedule adjustments. Bermuda and the North Atlantic islands should track Humberto's closest pass and prepare vessels and outdoor structures accordingly. Before we close, tonight's safety reminder. Follow official advisories issued every 6 hours as systems approach. Prepare for possible 48 to 72-hour power outages if you live in vulnerable areas. Stock up on water, dry food, batteries, and essential medications. And never underestimate rip currents even when the sea looks calm. Observe warning flags and only swim in lifeguarded zones. Tourism operators and port services should update itineraries and tours to keep travelers and crew safe. Finally, as always, a brief prayer. May every family along the coast be safe, wise in preparation, and supportive of one another through these unsettled days. We pray for the strength of first responders, meteorologists, and mariners at sea, that they remain healthy and steadfast on every watch. If you have personal prayer requests, please share them in the comments. We will pray with you. That concludes tonight's broadcast. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any changes in track or warnings. We'll see you in the next update, taking things one day at a time. Cautious with the long range, and always guided by the latest data. Good evening, and may you have a safe and peaceful night.